The holiday problem. Christians need to redeem and create culture. This is a article that I wrote on iApologia.com. It was written a few years ago, but I think it has really a lot of relevance forever. Like, this is a really important topic that I think that we should talk about. If you are enjoying this so far, or if you enjoy this channel, please grab my free quick guide where I give the reasons why I think science points to the creator. You can find it on my website here, or you can find it on my YouTube channel right underneath the description here, either in the comments or in the description, where I give a link so you can grab this quick guide. All right. Topic: the holiday problem. Christians need to redeem and create culture. This is going to be a little bit longer one, but it'll be fine. Infused within the months of October, November, and December is holiday season. We as Christians seem to have a stark dichotomy in our approach to celebrating at least two of these, Christmas and Halloween. We can throw in spring holidays of Easter called Pasha and St. Patrick's Day too. The disparity is not that on one hand many are complicit and capitulate to the surrounding culture, which is surprising to me, but I'm also taken back that on one hand others hold such holidays in contempt. This does surprise me quite a bit. This may sound like I'm pulling two opposite views at the same time, but I'm not. This is rather a false dichotomy, and I think we ought to take the third way, that is biblical worldview, as its skeleton. Often, Christmas, Halloween, and Easter, often called Pasha, are claimed to have pagan roots. The argument goes that since they have pagan roots, we should not be celebrating and observing these holidays. We read in Jeremiah 10:2, learn not the way of the heathen, or Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. The problem is that neither of these passages are speaking about the above holidays at all. People just assume that it is. It's not talking about that. Jeremiah passage is speaking specifically about making idols from a tree. It's not talking about a Christmas tree or anything like that, or a holiday. It's talking about idolatry, making idols. The second passage is talking about sin, not celebrating Christian holidays. Just read the context and I think you'll get this. Now, even if the holidays were once to incorporate idolatry and sin, that doesn't mean that's how we do the holiday today. Just because others sin, past or present, does not mean that I have to apologize. In addition, those who aptly use the pagan roots argument are committing the logical fallacy called the genetic fallacy. And I keep pounding away at this, but we have to think properly as Christians here. I'm assuming you're a Christian if you're watching this channel. That's who I'm kind of aiming at here. The genetic fallacy is judging something as either good or bad based on where it came from. Now, the point may be suspect, but is not automatically good or bad because of its origins. For example, a point isn't untrue just because an atheist professor makes it. A Volkswagen isn't presently a bad company because of past Nazi connections. Sure, the professor may be wrong, or VW may make poor cars, but that's not necessarily because of atheism or naturalism. So this is important. I'm not saying VW is a bad company at all. I'm just saying is that it might be this way. In addition, it is irrelevant for our holiday if our holiday falls on or around a date of ancient pagan or non-Christian holiday. Every calendar date could be tagged with at least one pagan or non-Christian holiday if we look hard enough throughout history and world culture. This is something that seems super obvious to me, but so many people don't assume that or don't seem to recognize this. Even though holiday origins have little value, as I pointed out, I want to note a humorous twist. In opposition to pop culture and mainstream thinking, these holidays actually have Christian roots, not pagan roots. I don't have the space to show it here. I showed other places, by the way. I only note that to show that other reason for the implosion of pagan roots argument. I'm humored by when the pagan roots type of person switches arguments in mid-conversation after I demonstrate the Christian roots of Halloween. The person then said it should be observed, not be observed because of modern paganization. So Halloween does have Christian roots, very Christian roots. But now it's pagan. Well, why not make it Christian? Why not Christianize it so much that's unrecognizable? So if you're going to celebrate Halloween, let's celebrate Halloween bigger and better than everybody else, but in a totally different way. Now, the above concerned person does not make a point that should be now the above concerned person does make a point that should be considered. What about the hideous pagan and ghoulish aspects of the holiday, like Halloween? Why do some such have apathy towards these concerning things? Why do some capitulate to the freaky and morbid when it comes to the holiday? I'm a little surprised by how some Christian circles are so quick to celebrate the ideals of secularism and paganism. In addition, why do we think of crazy costumes, jack-o'-lanterns, and witches and trick-or-treating when it comes to Halloween? When we think of Christmas, why do we think of Santa becoming a chimney sweep in our modern non-existent chimneys, elves on the shelves, and Rudolph's red nose? Why are hidden eggs and bunny rabbits the first thing that comes to mind for Easter, and green clothing and bar hopping for St. Patty's Day? Jesus, making a different point, once said that the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. Those of the world are making the impact, not Christians. Why is that? Why aren't we Christians making the impact? So much so that the culture at large impact us instead of the other way around. We should be impacting the culture, not the culture impacting us. When these holidays come to mind, shouldn't they scream Christianity? Have we as Christians failed to impact the culture that much? Why do these things come to mind, not Christian elements? I'm going to suggest a third way. While some capitulate to culture at large with mindless mimicry, the others misdirect energy, decrying everything less than Christian. We can take a third way. We can give positive answer to such negative options. If secular and pagan culture can take Christian holidays and make them secular and pagan, why can't we do the most Christian thing ever and redeem the days for Christ? Why can't we reform and redefine the holiday? Christ is in the business of redemption. Shouldn't we do the same? Sinners start out as sinners, and God converts them into saints. The Apostle Paul was a persecutor of the church, and he was redeemed. The evil of the cross has become our hope. The Old Testament patriarch Joseph said it best when he said this to his brothers. But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. You see, God is in the business of redemption. Even if a holiday has negative stigma, why don't we do the most Christian thing ever and redeem it for good? You see, the Creator created us in His image and tasked us to become co-creators. He created us as culture beings living in culture. Thus, we are also culture creators. Sadly, often we are the worst at creating culture. While in general, I'm the least to get excited about holiday celebrations. I don't really care that much about them. Many in the church get enthusiastic about holidays. No matter our holiday interest level, we can all help create Christian parallel culture, since holidays are just one aspect of this parallel culture. Redemption of culture, this is where to start. Redemption of culture doesn't mean just tweaking present culture. For example, instead of tweaking Halloween into harvest parties or trunk or treat, why not something more Christian? Why not go back to its roots of the day of learning, remembrance, and celebration of the past heroes of faith? Why not just make a parallel culture altogether? Redeeming Christmas doesn't look like sending cards of the old fat white bearded man in a red suit visiting baby Jesus. It's putting Jesus at the center stage. If we really want old Saint Nick to show up at Christmas time, let's trade out the commercialized old fat guy for learning about the deeds of the real Saint Nick of Myra. Lastly, Christmas is a rare opportunity for us. Society at large often expects us to be open and are hearing about Jesus. They love to hear about Jesus at this time of the year. Why disappoint them? Let's not disappoint. So we are left with a vanquished by culture mentality and victimized by culture mentality, or we have a victor over culture mentality. We have those three options. Which ones are you going to choose? Sure, we can go against society that is pulling the opposite direction, eviscerating Western civilization and defenestrating Christianity, but we are called to impact our neighbor. We are called to be salt and light, impacting the culture through flavor and tartness, through exposing evil and exposing good. We should be preserving truth and using our light to grow goodness all around us. Sure, it might be hard, but if it's not impossible to change culture at large, but what is not hard is to change culture at home in our small Christian groups and communities. If we would direct our lives into living out the Christian life and Christian worldview in our small spheres of influence, how many would be impacted in generations to come? You and I might not change the world today, but we can sure change the world for those nearest to us. So go out, change the world of your family. Go change the world of yourself first, and then your family, then your community. And as a community, you can start changing more and more things. Again, thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments to this, feel free to add to this positively, please. Add in a good way. And tell me what other things we could do to impact the culture, to be culture creators instead of scared of culture. Also, like I said before, if you have not picked up what I think science points to the creator, please do. There's a little link down below. I think I have this article linked down below as well. Love to have you here in the future. So like, subscribe, and talk to you later.